Welcome to Work Zest. Today I want to talk to you about why I try to bring an element of play into everything that I do. I think about this as having a playful mindset. If we take a second to think about how most people think of play and what we contrast it with work. But work in the way where it's not fun, where we don't want to do it, where it's hard and not engaging. And that's really what Work Zest is all about, undoing that for your work environment. So what lessons does play have to offer us? The way that I define play really comes from two sources. The first is a book called Homo Ludens, which means man the player. In this book, a cultural anthropologist was making the case that play is an essential element of culture, and that we see it in a lot of different things. But what I like about his definition is that he defines play as being separate from everyday life, freely chosen, which means high in autonomy, people feel like they're in charge when they're doing it, and high in intrinsic motivation, that people do it for reasons that are valuable in and of themselves and not for external rewards. The last bit I also think is very important. He says play is highly ordered. And I know most people don't think of play as being that way, but there are very clear rules, very clear expectations about how you're supposed to behave, and immediate feedback on your performance. All of those things are how work should be. We need to separate it from our everyday life. We need to do performance management so people are getting immediate feedback on their progression towards clear goals. And we really want to stimulate feelings of autonomy and tap into intrinsic motivation to get the most of our employees. The other inspiration that I draw from is Maslow. Maslow was a psychologist who talked about hierarchy of needs. You have probably heard of him. But one of the things I really loved is he defined these things called being values. Things where you can just always have more, where you can never get enough. And one of them was playfulness. And what I love about him picking this as a being value is he described it in contrast to something that's really important. Someone who has no playfulness in their life is humorlessness. We really want to avoid being humorless. We want to make sure that we don't take ourselves or our experiences too seriously. And the benefit of this is that it allows us to experiment. So the last thing that I really think about when I talk about something being playful is that there is a scientific element to it. You are investigating and you are willing to make changes, to accept failure, and find a better way of doing things. I hope that this inspired you to think a little bit differently about how you can incorporate play into the things that you do. It's not about fun. It's not about gamification. It's about autonomy, intrinsic motivation, clear feedback, and most importantly, not being humorless about how you do things. I look forward to talking to you soon, and I hope if this inspired you, you will leave a comment below. Bye.